What if everything we know about ancient history is wrong? What if our ancestors weren't just survivors of a brutal world, but masters of a lost science, architects of forgotten knowledge, and seekers of eternal life? From the hidden chambers beneath Egyptian pyramids to the strange magnetic stones of South America, there are clues, powerful, mysterious, undeniable, that suggest the past holds secrets far beyond our understanding. This isn't just about myths or folklore. It's about ancient evidence that modern science can't explain. And yet, nobody's talking about it. Why? Who decided this knowledge should stay buried? In this video, we take you on a journey through immortality myths, lost technologies, and sacred sites that defy logic. You're not just watching history, you're rediscovering it. In every major ancient civilization, there exists a tale of men who refused to die. Whether it was the Chinese Emperor Qin Shi Huang, who sent ships across oceans to find the elixir of life, or the Mesopotamian hero Gilgamesh, who defied the gods in search of immortality. The idea of eternal life was not fantasy, it was a pursuit. Ancient India spoke of Siddhas who had conquered death. Greek myths gave us ambrosia. In Egypt, Osiris was both god and immortal being. Across these cultures, immortality was not just a spiritual goal, it was scientific. Even in Mesoamerican cultures, shamans performed rituals believed to stretch the soul beyond time. Why were all these people obsessed with avoiding death? Did they know something we don't? Was immortality just symbolic, or was it based on real ancient science? Perhaps immortality was never meant to be permanent, but cyclical, rebirth, regeneration. Clues lie buried not only in mythology but in the DNA of our ancient ruins. It is one thing to build a pyramid, it is another to align it perfectly to true north, encode the speed of light in its dimensions, and do it all with no modern machinery. Sites like Baalbek in Lebanon contain stones weighing over 1,000 tons, moved with such precision that even today's cranes would struggle. At Puma Punku in Bolivia, stones were carved with 90-degree angles, so sharp and precise they resemble modern machine cuts. In India's Ellora caves, entire temple complexes were chiseled out of solid rock, top to bottom, without leaving a single debris trail. Who taught them this? Where did this knowledge go? The mainstream explanation is often slavery and time. But is that really enough? What if they had tools? Not metallic, but sound-based, frequency-driven, or powered by forces we no longer understand. From Baghdad batteries to ancient earthquake-resistant architecture in Peru. The technology of our ancestors might not have been inferior, just different. Some ancient sites don't just defy logic, they seem to laugh at it. Derinkuyu in Turkey is an underground city large enough to house 20,000 people, complete with air shafts, wells, and stone doors. Who built it and why? Mainstream archaeology has no answer. Then there's Nan Madol, a floating city in Micronesia built on coral reefs with megalithic stones. How were they transported over water with no boats? In South Africa, there are strange circular stone structures believed to be over 200,000 years old. The Great Sphinx of Giza shows water erosion patterns dating back long before Egypt's dynasties began. Sites like these seem to rewrite history, not with conspiracy but with cold, hard, unexplainable facts. Either we're missing huge chapters of human history, or there were once civilizations far more advanced than we dare to believe. If this ancient knowledge was so advanced, why did it disappear? Was it wiped out by global cataclysms, like the Younger Dryas event? Or was it hidden intentionally, passed only through secret orders, mystery schools, and oral traditions. There are secret societies today, like the Freemasons, Rosicrucians, and certain yogic lineages, who claim to guard fragments of ancient knowledge. What if modern religions were built atop lost scientific truths? Take the biblical Tower of Babel. Could it have been a technological device to access other dimensions or frequencies? The more you dig, the more it seems like ancient people knew about energy, vibration, consciousness, in ways we are just beginning to explore again. Perhaps the knowledge was never truly lost. It was just buried, waiting for us to wake up. We were taught that history is a straight line, from caveman to space age. But what if it's a cycle? Civilizations rise, unlock deep truths, then collapse, only to be forgotten. From Atlantis to Lemuria, legends of lost continents persist across cultures. We dismiss them as myth, but new geological discoveries point toward ancient global cataclysms, floods, quakes, and sudden ice ages, wiping out everything. Maybe the survivors scattered and seeded knowledge across the world. That would explain how distant cultures share sacred geometry, serpent worship, sun gods, and pyramid structures. As we look forward to AI and quantum tech, maybe it's time to also look back and ask, what did we leave behind? Not just in stones, but in story, myth, and spirit. Because the real story of human history may not be about how far we've come, but about how much we've forgotten. Modern science is just scratching the surface of what DNA truly holds. But what if the ancients already understood the blueprint of life? In myths across the world, we find curious references to beings who were not entirely human. Giants, demigods, hybrids, or divine offspring. The Sumerians spoke of the Anunnaki, said to have altered humanity to create a worker race. In India, the concept of Divya Sharia, divine or immortal bodies, suggests transformation at the genetic level. Even in the Bible, the Nephilim were said to be children of sons of God and human women. Genetic modification in plain sight. Fast forward to now, and science is unlocking CRISPR, gene editing, and anti-aging therapies, almost like rediscovering something lost. What if immortality isn't mystical, but biological? What if the true tree of life wasn't spiritual, but genetic? Ancient structures, like the Assyrian in Egypt or the underground vaults of Peru, might not just be temples, but repositories of ancient biological knowledge. The double helix symbol, eerily similar to the twin serpents of Caduceus, appears in cultures with no contact. Coincidence, or a lost code repeated across time? Perhaps the real secret wasn't how to live forever, but how to renew life endlessly. Almost every ancient civilization, from the Dogon of Africa to the Maya of Central America, speaks of beings from the stars. Not metaphorically, but explicitly. The Dogon knew about Sirius B, an invisible star to the naked eye, long before telescopes were even imagined. The Sumerians described sky gods descending in flying machines. Machines with technology we still can't replicate today. Ancient India spoke of Vimanas, aerial crafts with weapon systems and propulsion technologies far ahead of their time. Aboriginal tribes in Australia speak of the Wangina, sky people who taught them language and art. Even the Aztecs awaited the return of Quetzalcoatl, a feathered serpent god said to come from the sky. Why this global obsession with beings? Either it's the most widespread hallucination in human history, or it's based on something real, something forgotten. Could these beings have brought not just knowledge, but technology? Did they help seed the early civilizations we now call ancient? The sudden leap in human consciousness, architecture, astronomy, all without a clear transitional phase, seems suspicious. And maybe, just maybe, these beings never left. Ancient stargates, landing zones in Noscar, and astronomical alignments all suggest a deeper connection between Earth and the cosmos. Perhaps the ancients weren't just worshipping the stars, they were waiting for someone to return. In the shadow of every pyramid, beneath every temple floor, lies the question no archaeologist dares to answer honestly. What if the people we credit as the builders were actually the inheritors? What if the true architects vanished long before history began recording names? Many ancient texts, from the Mahabharata to the Book of Enoch, speak of ages when giants, gods, or sky beings walked the earth. They taught language, mathematics, and the stars, then disappeared, leaving behind impossible blueprints. We assumed the Great Pyramid was a tomb, but no mummy was ever found there. Not a single carving naming a pharaoh inside. The precision of its alignment with the stars, its mathematical proportions, and internal chambers defy ancient tools. Across the planet, sites like Puma, Punku, and Göbekli Tepe appear suddenly, perfect, sophisticated, and already ancient when discovered. There are no practice runs, no evolutionary steps, just sudden mastery. It's as if someone pushed humanity forward with knowledge we hadn't earned. Who were they? Where did they go? And why do our oldest myths warn of a great forgetting? Maybe the story of humanity isn't a straight line, but a cycle of rise, ruin, and rediscovery. Almost every ancient civilization, from the Dogon of Africa to the Maya of Central America, speaks of beings from the stars. Not metaphorically, but explicitly. The Dogon knew about Sirius B, an invisible star to the naked eye, long before telescopes were even invented. The Sumerians described sky gods descending in flying machines, while ancient India spoke of Vimanas, aerial crafts with propulsion systems. Aboriginal tribes in Australia tell stories of the Wandjina, sky people, who taught them language, art, and survival. Even the mighty Aztecs awaited the return of Quetzal, a feathered serpent god believed to have come from the sky. Why this global obsession with star beings? Is it the world's most shared myth, or something more? Could it be that these beings brought knowledge, science, even seeded civilizations? Could the leap in human consciousness and architecture be their legacy? There's no clear transition between cave dwellers and pyramid builders, just a sudden explosion of brilliance and structure. And maybe, just maybe, these beings never really left. Ancient stargates, Nazca lines, and sacred alignments whisper otherwise. Perhaps the ancients weren't worshipping the stars, they were waiting for someone to return. You've just glimpsed the edge of a much deeper truth, one that mainstream history isn't ready to accept. The ancients weren't just building monuments, they were leaving messages, and those messages are still speaking. If you know how to listen, maybe immortality, lost technology, and mysterious sites are not disconnected, but part of one great puzzle waiting to be solved. The past is not dead. It's alive, buried beneath centuries of dust and denial. And the more we uncover, the more we realize we are not the pinnacle of civilization. We might just be the latest attempt. Subscribe to Legacy of Nations for more hidden history, powerful mysteries, and the untold stories they don't want you to know. Because the truth is never lost. It's only waiting.